All right, so good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's ISMA alumni sharing session. All right, so today, I'm your host, Stanislaus, and today we are here with several ISMA awardees who are going to share their experiences to all of you guys today. So make sure that you guys prepare your questions and make sure you note down everything they say because ISMA is right around the corner. So, without further ado, let us begin our event today with some opening remarks by Miss Gracia.
Thank you, Stanis. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Nice seeing you guys here again today. I am replacing Pak Gelar for today. So this session is actually the second session for the alumni sharing session. And today we have people from different countries from the first session on Friday. So I hope you guys can learn something new from them. And if they are the awardees whom you aim to uh, have the same country and also the same university as your choices, make sure to ask a lot of questions, learn from them, take some notes. Don't hesitate to ask. And yeah, this room is basically for you to learn from the previous awardee and take this chance to learn from them. All right. And at the end of the session, there will be an announcement again. This time, the announcement is a very detailed timeline for your journey, which is for the UC supported events for you guys to help you for getting ready for ISMA. So yeah, that's all. Enjoy today's session. Back to Stanis.
Pak, mari Pak.
Well, thank you for your opening words, Miss Gracia. Indeed, best luck to all of you ISMA candidates. And so, while that's said and done, let us hear from our first awardee today, Bianca Angelina. The stage is yours.
Wait, I'm gonna share screen. Wait.
Full screen, the right one. Use to full screen. The bawah down. Nah. There you go.
Okay, so sorry, that's taking a long time. Okay, welcome to my sharing session. So I'm just gonna start right away with a short introduction. So hi, I am Bianca Angelina. I'm originally from Visual Communication Design, batch 2020, and I'm right now currently an awardee for IISMA Maastricht. So let's see, what do I have? So yeah, I'm just gonna be talking about like my timeline of my process here. So I'm only alert of ISMA on January. That's where I got like the interest, like maybe I should try doing that. So if you guys are on that phase right now, means you guys are doing good, I guess. So I'm only deciding to apply IISMA on February. So getting to know everything in the IISMA portal, and then passport extension, English proficiency test. And then also, of course, if you want to register, they're going to show you about the essay, essay questions. So I don't know if you guys are already on that stage yet, but if you are, then it's good. It means you are already starting early. And also, of course, choosing the host university that you are going to be studying in. And I would really suggest you really do your research on that. Of course, for you guys to have fun and for you guys to actually be capable of doing the IISMA here. And on March, of course, it's the IISMA preparation and process. So you guys will be making like a CV, and there's also the nationality test or tes kebinekaan. What else? Of course, also the documents that you guys will be needing to give to the IISMA for the registration. So like SKCK or SKBN and a lot more documents that you guys will receive later. And then on April, I got accepted. So that's the announcement, and more extra documents that you need to give. And then on May to July, it's the pre-departure series for me, because I'll be departing on August. So later you guys will be attending IISMA pre-departure series, and then you guys will, of course, prepare everything that you guys need and like packing and everything. And on August, it is my departure. And from September until now, I am still here in Maastricht in this room. It's pretty chaotic. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep it short and state some important notice that you guys might need. I would just like to focus on these four, because I feel like these four are like the initial stage that you guys need to work on, I guess. Firstly is the English test. So you can choose either Duolingo, IELTS, or TOEFL. For me personally, I choose Duolingo. Firstly, because it's cheaper, and then it's also legible. But again, you guys need to check the IISMA portal for the host university. So I think, if I recall, there's a lot of Australian host university that don't accept Duolingo. So pay attention on what they accept and what university you want. My only tip for Duolingo test is you guys study from teacher Luke on YouTube. He basically describes everything that you guys need to know about the test, about the structure of the test. And then from the Duolingo itself, you can like practice, like the practice test. You guys need to take a lot of that, because that's what gets me through the Duolingo English test. And also, this is from personal experience, is that you need to keep your behavior when you're doing the test, because I didn't even like look away like that. But my first test got like they didn't take the test as available, because they saw my eyes like looking away, so they might think you're cheating. So really, when you're answering, just try to look at the camera, try not to look away, and yeah, do your best, I guess. For the essay, I would say just it's better if you have a lot of experience, I guess. So just expose your college experience, like maybe you've been active in doing this or that, or maybe you attend what events that you help. So yeah, just expose your whole experience there, just be yourself. Also, there you need to talk and not brag, like you basically want to sell yourself, and just show that you are capable and grateful. Just talk everything, but like no need to like be snobby. Also, you need to, this is very important, I think, you need to show that you are adaptable, like you can adapt well in every situation. I think I think that's very important here. And also, don't be too lengthy on your essay. Try to just mark your points, as you have like word limits there. So really use the word limits well. And this is just because I'm also personally not that good at writing essays. I use some tools here that helped me last time. I used Quillbot to paraphrase, like if you have any idea that what you guys want to talk about, but you really don't know how to structure the words, I think Quillbot will really help. And then after like you guys wrote down all your essays, you can use Grammarly to check if your grammars are already correct, if there's more like an effective sentence. So yeah, that's my tips on the writing itself. And also interview is also important. So congratulations if you guys later reach that point. So basically for interview, I think is the key is to master your essay. So you guys really need to remember what you wrote on the essay, because they will be asking from that. So but it would be definitely would be better if you guys can elaborate from what you guys have written in the essay. So for instance, since you have only word limit there, maybe you say, I'm active in this organization. And then in your interview, you can like say how you bring impact to that organization and how you guys work there. Maybe say that you guys learn teamwork or whatever there would be better. And then definitely, I guess, be confident and just be yourself. Show some personality. It doesn't matter. And yeah, be confident. And also, if you're like a little tip, because I'm a really nervous person, is that I admit that I'm nervous to the interviewer. They were like, yeah, just keep calm and everything. So yeah, that really helps. Also, I think if you're not used to speaking in English, since the interview is going to be in English, I think it would be better if you guys practice your English, maybe watch a lot of English movies, listen to English language song, which I think is not a problem for you guys. But yeah, definitely practice is a really good way. Also, you would want to emphasize that you guys have vision, goals, and impact there. So if you, they're basically going to ask you a lot of like, what is your vision there? Like if you got accepted, what would you be doing? And also what's your goal? And also there would be like questions relating to what impact you're gonna bring if you guys got accepted and what you guys will bring when you get back to Indonesia. So it would be good if you prepare those answers. And lastly, is to improvise because we never know what questions are they gonna ask. Like really, it's really various the questions that they're gonna ask. So just improvise. And also, this is a really important point. It is to really do research when choosing your university, because especially for me as a visual communication design student, we don't usually do essays in our task back in UC. But then since I didn't do my research really well, I didn't know that my university right now does a lot of like essays. So, and like the learning systems are really, really different too. So that really like, it's really a struggle for me to adapt firstly here. But after that, I think it's gonna be okay. So it would be better if you guys really do your research so you guys can have fun again, and then be capable of following the study here. Okay, so that's for the tips. Okay, so these.
Sorry, Priyanka. I
Yeah.
think your your Canva is not moving.
Really?
So it's still number one.
Wait, really?
Uh-uh.
Oh no. How do I?
Maybe you can stop share screen again and then
Okay. Wait, I'm sorry.
thank you. Oh yeah. Now
Or-
yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Maybe if you guys wanna I don't know, screenshot this one. This is the one that I was talking about the whole time. I'm gonna give like a moment to screenshot this, but basically, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm gonna move on now. Okay, so this is just a glimpse of the place that I'm studying in right now. This is Maastricht, the whole city. It's in Netherlands. It's really pretty, guys. I don't know, it's really peaceful. The people are really nice too. Definitely, you guys are gonna face some different cultures here. It's really fun actually to like experience just as simple as the traffic culture here. Like they would immediately stop right away if they see someone like crossing the road. They would like stop like a few minutes behind. So that's really funny for me, because in Indonesia they would be like "Whoa," everything, and then like yeah, there's a lot of like culture that really opens your eyes here, like yeah, like broaden your insight. But definitely the city's really pretty, and I think it's clean. There's a lot of like open spaces too, especially if you like nature like me. You would definitely love the city. There's also a lot of like thrift store and like markets that opens every like Wednesday and Friday and Saturday. So like in each day there's like different things they sell on the market. And yeah, I think it's really fun experience here. Also, that picture of me with the only picture that there's me, that is a bookstore actually. So yeah, it's really, if you guys love reading, I think this city is for you, because they also offer, there's like a lot of like libraries and everything. So yeah, this is also just a glimpse of me and my Maastricht buddies here. So basically, we bike a lot here. Honestly, I think everyone bikes here in the Netherlands. Whether the weather is insane, like a snowstorm or whatever, they still bike. But yeah, also we ride a lot of, if you guys want to go around Netherlands here, you can use the train. Also, yeah, basically, the bottom two picture there is UCM, so my faculty here. It's the University College Maastricht. Yeah, basically it's not like a conventional university building. It's pretty small and like it's pretty fun, I think. So yeah, that's the lecture hall. And yeah, basically if you guys want to know more about IISMA Maastricht, you can go ahead and stalk Instagram IISMA Maastricht, and you guys can see more informations later on that we're gonna post. And for me here, since I'm in the Netherlands, and not to speak bad of it, but honestly, you guys would be better off if you guys can cook yourself. You're gonna miss I don't know, Indonesian food or whatever food you actually like, Asian food, because the food here it's pretty bland. So it would be really nice if you guys can cook. But honestly, I'm not a good cook myself, but eventually you guys will learn how to cook. I think just to adjust your taste well here and still eat good. So yeah, these are like the foods that I've been cooking here, because in here I don't really eat much. I eat mostly at home. Firstly, to save money. Second, because it tastes better. And obviously through IISMA, it's totally worth it because you guys can make international friends. Some are like will eventually the friends that you guys are gonna remember for maybe for a long time. It's really fun. You guys can have like Halloween parties here. You guys can have like Christmas dinner together, because like in Maastricht, basically there's like it's mostly international students there. So they're also like away from home. They also need someone to like hang out with, to spend like holidays with. So that's what I did last time. On December, I spent like a Christmas dinner together, and we have like pictures and then like Secret Santa and everything. So it's really fun that you guys need to get like international friends here. And it's also good for like networking, broaden your networks here. And of course, these are the bonuses of IISMA. Aside from all the studies that you're gonna face, there's still gonna be the good side, which is traveling. But of course, you need to travel responsibly. Consider your the funding that you get, remember that you pay your rent first and get your like priority first and then travel. And these are like, I'm like really grateful that I get the experience to travel to these places. But yeah, definitely these are the bonuses because you want to make sure you have fun while you are studying abroad to keep your sanity here. And yeah, I'm gonna end my presentation with these cheesy memes. No, it's not meme, it's quotes. So basically, pay attention to these quotes honestly because this is true. So the tip is to always do your best but don't forget to pray because really it's about doing your best and like you just don't know their decision, what will their decisions be, because I've also seen some amazing people that does IISMA but doesn't get passed. So really also pray while doing your best, and also remember to have fun during the whole process. Don't let it like disturb your whole focus or anything. And also remember that also this is not, I'm just saying this, but it's okay if you don't get this, because remember that even if you don't get this opportunity, there would be another thing opening for you guys. So yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Bianca, for your presentation. So now I know you guys are probably gonna ask, oh, Q&A session. Well, stick around because our Q&A session is going to be done after we hear our next two guests. Speaking of which, our next guest today shall be yes, Rama. Well, I guess
All right.
IT has already spoiled it for me, so the
So,
stage is yours.
so can you guys hear me? Is it good? Because I'm kind of outside right now. Okay. So let me just share my screen right now. So, uh, good afternoon. My name is Rama, and I am IISMA awardee at NTU, Nanyang Technological University. And today I would like to share you my experience and my tips and tricks at how to apply NTU through IISMA program. So here's a few photo of me. Here's me on the front of the NTU sign, and here's me at Universal Studio, and here's a photo. I think it's a Fullerton Hotel. So let's talk about why apply for IISMA 2024. So there's a few reasons that you might be interested in applying for IISMA, which is you get your tuition paid. For me at NTU, I get my tuition paid, and you get a living allowance that, in my experience, you guys can live quite comfortably, especially in Singapore. Next is the international exposure. So if you apply for IISMA, you get international friends, you get to meet a few international lecturers. So what Bianca has already said. And then you can also get some future opportunities. So you academically, you learn something new from the university. You learn something you might not learn in UC, and also it is good for your career. So it can be a good thing to put on your CV. So you might be wondering why Singapore and why NTU? There's a few reasons I can tell you that Singapore might be interesting for you, which is that Singapore is one of the best university in Asia. So it is ranked at 26 at QS World University Rankings. It is also number 2 in Asia, just behind NUS, also in Singapore. Next is Singapore is also quite efficient and it is quite a clean city. So if you guys get the chance to join IISMA at Singapore at NTU, you will be amazed at how clean and how efficient the city is. Fun fact, I applied for my visa in just 1 week. It's already approved and I can enter Singapore. It's that easy. Next is the great public transport. So you guys might already hear that Singapore is very great at public transport because of its small size. So they need to do public transport. So here's some of my photo. This one is the NTU bus, and this one the MRT, and then this one is one of the station. So very good public transport. So public transport, I think I just so let's talk about the activities at NTU. So when you guys first arrive, you might experience the Singapore tour that is arranged by GEM NTU, which is the NNP, sort of NNP at Singapore. So at first day, you get to tour around Singapore. So you get to see their landmarks, their flyer, their food zone hotel, and a lot of other great places. And there's also some of my class activities, like there's two types of classes for me. It's like a seminar class and then a lecture class. The seminar class is basically where you like listen to the professor. Oh no, actually, the seminar class is basically where you can talk with the professor. Like, they will check on you, like your assignment, your progress, and then the lecture is basically where you listen to the materials. Then also, next is the batik challenge. This is one of the challenges that we need to complete. That is required by IISMA. So we visited Sekolah Indonesia Singapura. So there's an Indonesian school at Singapore. Basically, a lot of Indonesian citizens that have children, they put their children in the Sekolah Indonesia Singapura. We also get to open our booth at GEM Fair, which is a place where Singapore NTU students can see around different opportunities outside of Singapore. So we open our booth to promote Indonesian culture so that they are interested in exchange to Indonesia. GEM also arranged 2 tours around NTU Nuri and Marina Barrage, which is NTU Nuri is a lab for membrane research. So they are doing research to purify the water because they need to extract as much water as possible. They need to recycle the water. And then we also see Marina Barrage, which is their water reservoir, where they collect rainwater and then they purify it, they distribute it around Singapore. So next part is how NNP helped me with applying for IISMA. So I massive thank you to NNP for helping me with all of the documents and arranging their documents from Universitas Putra to apply for IISMA. And they also help a lot with tests, basically narcotics tests and police reports. So I'm very thankful for NNP for doing this for me and other IISMA awardees from UC. So next, let's talk about the application and selection experience. So I have a few lists that you guys should start preparing today, which is the English proficiency test result. I use Duolingo personally because it's quite cheap and I can do it on my own home. I think Bianca already talks in great lengths about how he experienced in Duolingo. Basically, we do it the test on our home, and the proctoring is quite strict, I'd say. And then you guys should also start preparing all of the documents that are required by IISMA, especially the passport, because this one is quite difficult to get if you are doing it last minute, really difficult. And next is good academic history, volunteering, community participation, etc. to make your CV looks good, because IISMA is not only selecting you based on your English proficiency test, based on your essay and etc. They also test on your academic history. So please prepare from today a good academic background. So let's talk about the English test a bit. So I think Bianca already mentioned about the Duolingo, and I'm gonna share my experience a bit. So for me to prepare the Duolingo test is, I didn't do a lot of like research. I just tried the trial test on their website. I think I do it like three times, yeah. And from the practice test, it is quite similar to the real test. It's just that they didn't. I think they didn't count the test where you have your microphone where you talk. So yeah, I really like the Bianca's suggestion at looking at YouTube tutorials and reading books, etc. And for the interview, it is really subjective, like what they're gonna ask you. For me, they just ask me like my backgrounds, etc. And one of the question that I remember specifically is that they asked me if I live alone in Surabaya, which I answer yes, because I live alone in a boarding house. And they also asked me, if I remember correctly, is I basically choose two countries. One is Japan, one is Singapore, and I didn't get the Japan. So I think it's because they asked me like, are you fluent in Japanese? Which I answer no, and then they asked me like, if you're not fluent in Japanese, then how would you communicate with other people? So I just answer honestly, which is I'll just use Google Translate. So if you guys are going to apply to a university that doesn't in a country that primarily doesn't use English, I think I recommend that you guys try the certification exam for that language, that country's language. And the last few pages is tips and tricks. First is you have to spare enough time to prepare, because every documents, every certificate that is not, you are not able to finish it in one day. You have to prepare it at least from today. If you can, you should prepare it. Especially the passport. I remember, I think in my faculty, we have to submit our passport also. So if you don't have a passport, you have to read it now if you are thinking about applying to IISMA. Next is again make the most out of your CV. You should join committee, competition, etc. I think this also helps me a lot in applying with IISMA, because I used to join student union. I used to participate in competition. I used to join. I also used to join the committee for doing the competition, etc. Next, you should pick the host university and the country that you're interested in. You should also like research the country, the university requirements, etc. For me, I actually really want to go to Singapore, so that's why I chose Singapore. The reason is because it is so convenient and it's so efficient and good. And you should also do the same if you're trying for different country. You should find what fascinates you about that country. And then for your essays, I suggest going with the STAR method. With this and in conjunction with your CV, you should mix in a bit of your experience. This will be very beneficial for your essay. And I also like Bianca's recommendation of using tools to help enhance your essays. So in these days, there's a lot of tools to enhance your essay, like Quillbot, etc. And also, if you want, you can consultate with your lecturer, your academic lecturers. I did consultate with my academic lecturer. She is very helpful, and she can point to a lot of different holes in my essays, which I fixed. And this is for Singapore in general, so you should get a comfy shoes and start getting used to getting used to with long walking, because you're definitely gonna do long walking in Singapore, because if you're not either in the bus, the train, you're gonna be in walking or cycling. So that's it with my presentation about my experience in Singapore in NTU.
All right. Thank you, Rama, for your sharing session. So if any of you are interested to go to Singapore, there are your details, guys. Now, let us head over to our final guest of the day, and she is already well prepared like the rest of you all. Please welcome Felicia NG. All right, NG, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Stan. Wait, I'll start my screen share. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you. So hi everybody, my name is Angie. I'm from Psychology 2021, and last year I was an IISMA 2023 awardee at the University of Melbourne. Today I will be sharing my experience with you, just like Bianca and Rama did. I will tell you my experience from when I started the application process to how life is like there studying at UniMelb and in Melbourne. So I'm just gonna start now. Oh. So it all started during the application process, and last year I think it was about like February or March as well. I remember this phase being a pretty stressful phase, but you can always take it one step at a time. So instead of looking at the application like this really big challenge that you have to overcome, it's actually divided into several steps that you can prepare one by one. So the first stage would be where you submit your documents, your English test, and your essays. The second stage would be where you submit additional documents like surat keterangan catatan kepolisian, surat keterangan bebas narkoba, and you would fill out more online CVs in the second stage. And then moving on to the third stage, there will be a tes kebinekaan. But you don't have to worry about this tes kebinekaan, because when I first saw it, I also initially thought like, oh no, they're going to test me on my civics knowledge or PKN knowledge, which I am really bad at. But do not worry, because the tes kebinekaan is more of like a personality test about your values regarding nationalism. So they will give you a short case studies like, what would you do in this situation? So you don't really have to study for it, and there are no right or wrong answers. And the last stage would be the interview stage. And in this stage, it is definitely also one of the most stressful stages, because we have a lot to prepare for with limited time. But there are a lot of tips that I found useful from my preparation last year, and I will share it to you right after this. So for the essay, Bianca and Rama also talked about the essay, and their tips I found also very, very useful. So I'll also tell you the essay tips that I got last year, and I think this was really helpful when I was preparing for my application. So this year, the essay will be about outlining your academic, non-academic achievements, and then what you plan to do there in the country that you will go to, like how do you plan to participate with local and international communities there. And then they will also ask you to tell them a story about how you faced a challenge or an obstacle and how you overcome it. And finally, they will also ask you about your physical and mental health. So basically, this essay will be for them to know more about you based on your academics, your future plans, your problem-solving skills, and your physical and mental health. Now, for the essay, I know that a lot of people might be confused on how to structure the essay, what things you should put in your essay, and how to write your achievements, non-academic achievements, and all of that. But for me, I believe that the essay should not be all about your achievements, because there will be a question that asks you to write about your achievements. However, an important point in that question will also for you to write about your progress and your growth. So ISMA is not just asking you to list down all of the things you did or all the things you have accomplished, but I think they would be more interested to find out the process that you went through, how you solved a problem, the failures that you faced, and how you overcome that to get the results that you have right now. And it doesn't always have to be about like achievements of winning a competition or getting a scholarship and things like that. It can also be non-academic achievements, such as maybe starting your own business or volunteering at an organization, or even conquering a fear that you once had. So I believe that writing about your progress and your growth is also a really important tip in your essay, because it shows them that you are adaptable, it shows them that you're a hardworking person, and that you can survive living abroad. My next tip would also to be specific when writing your essay to show that you've done research. So for example, one of the essays will ask you about how do you plan to contribute to international and local communities when you're studying in ISMA. The general answer would be writing like, oh, I want to engage with international students there. But a way to spice up your essay and make it even better is to write, to be more specific about how you plan to do that. So for me, last year, I wrote that I wanted to make international friends while doing the ISMA program. How do I plan to do that? Besides participating in class activities, I also want to enroll in a dorm in UniMelb called the International House. I chose that dorm because it has a lot of multicultural events with multicultural food, and they basically mix a lot of people from different culture. So being specific when writing your essay shows that you've done research and that you are prepared for when you actually go there. And my last tip for the essay is don't worry too much about finding the perfect format. Because last year, when I was preparing for my ISMA essay, I found this really good essay example from LinkedIn from 2022 ISMA awardee. I read her essay and I was really pressured by how perfect I thought her essay was. And I kept on using it as a standard when I was writing my essay. As a result, I couldn't even start writing my essay because I just felt really insecure what I had to write. So in the end, I ditched all of those essay examples and I just started writing the essay from who I am. It is really still important to write in a good paragraph with good paragraphing, with introduction, body, conclusion. But in the end, I believe that your essay is supposed to show who you are. There's no exact format for how it's supposed to be. Just do your best in your essay and show them that you are someone who is capable of living and studying abroad. So that is some tips that I found very useful when I was preparing for my essay. And next, for the interview is a bit tricky because last year the time between the announcement of you getting in the interview and the schedule of your interview is really short. It was about like a week or less than a week for some people who got it early. So do not wait for the announcement to practice. Maybe you can start practicing now whilst you're also preparing for your English speaking test. You can also start practicing after you have submitted your documents. So you can just really start practicing your interview as early as possible. Now for the interview, last year I joined online communities like Telegram, as you might have already known. I think joining these online communities in Telegram and Twitter is also really useful to prepare for your essay, interview, and application. Now from these communities, I found several online resources that I think are very helpful to prepare for your interview. So in this QR code right after here, you can take a screenshot if you want to. But this QR code leads to a Google Sheets, which has several practice interview questions. Now, I did not make these Google Sheets. I got it from the Telegram as well. And I think a 2022 awardee made these. But they are very useful. It allowed me to practice more for the interview. And the one here, the second QR code, it leads to a YouTube link. So last year, an ISMA Boston awardee and an LPDP awardee, they made a collab video on how to answer questions for ISMA and LPDP. I think they also really structured the examples really well, the thought process behind the questions, and how they recommend you to answer it. So you can use both of these online resources and definitely find more and newer online resources if possible. However, even after practicing with all of these resources, in the end, the questions may be unexpected and very specific. Like Rama also mentioned before, he got questions about like Japanese language and about living alone. So the interviewer will also ask you questions based on your essay and the things you say at your interview. So definitely do anticipate by practicing your speaking skills. I think that is the only way to anticipate for unexpected questions. Like last year, I was doing the interview and most of my questions were general. It was about like experience, what I plan to do there. But I got a really specific question when the interviewer suddenly asked me like, oh, I saw in your IELTS score that you only got a 7.5 for your speaking test, but I think you have a good English speaking ability. So why did you only get that score? And I was like really shocked because I didn't think that she would ever ask me that question. But I decided like to stay calm and just answer honestly that I was really nervous during my test. It was also really cold, so I couldn't really focus that much. But I've tried practicing my speaking skill better for this interview. So just anticipate those unexpected questions, but just answer honestly and do your best with those questions. My next tip would also be to not memorize because it can be tempting to have all of these interview questions and then start writing and typing your own answers and having to read them during the day. But I think that leaves space for more errors because if you forget like a single detail, it might throw you off. So instead of memorizing, just prepare as much as you can to build your confidence. Don't overwork yourself, but just find time to prepare and to be really convincing in your interview. And just like the essay before, also be specific in your answers. Like if they ask you what do you plan to do there, don't just give general answers, but show them that you've done research of what is there in the country, what you want to do, like specific organizations you want to join. That will really convince them as well that you are prepared to be an IISMA awardee. And my final interview tip, I actually got this during the end of my interview, and I don't know if other awardees got this as well. But during my interview, the interviewer asked me about my family background, and she found out that I was an only child and I've never lived away from home. So I've only stayed in Surabaya my whole life. And I think that concerned her of my ability to live alone when going abroad. So approaching the end of my interview, she kept on asking me like 2 to 3 times, what would you do if you get homesick? What would you do if you get suddenly sick there? What would you do if you cannot survive the school there? So she was really trying to make sure that I am confident that I'm able to survive. So just convince them that you can and that you are ready for this program. And I think you're good to go for the interview. Okay, so after going through the essay, the lengthy essay and the interview process and everything, I thankfully finally got accepted at UniMelb. And studying at UniMelb was literally a dream come true because when I was in high school, I wanted to apply to the University of Melbourne, but I didn't get the chance to do so. So it was a really great experience studying here. And actually, when I was in Australia, I didn't experience much culture shock, but I did experience culture shock when I was at UniMelb. Because in UC, when me and my friends do group work, we usually like work in a cafe together, we usually spend a lot of time planning the content and everything. But the students there are definitely more individualistic than we are here in Indonesia. So we only had like a 15-minute meeting for our group works and then done. Everyone would do everything on their own. And if someone else is not doing their work, they practically don't really care. So it was a really different culture, but I was able to adapt to it eventually. And it made the working process more efficient because there was more time spent working alone than socializing. So yeah, it depends on your preferences, but it was definitely an interesting experience. And at UniMelb, another culture shock is there is definitely less formality with the lecturers. So we don't have to call them with Miss, Mr., Ma'am, or Sir. We would directly call them by name like Boris, Martin, which was really weird for me. And I must admit, I didn't adapt to it at all. So up until the end of my studies there, I still emailed them with Miss, Mr., Ma'am, Sir, sorry for bothering you. But yeah, there was definitely less formality with the lecturers there. But besides from the culture shock that I experienced, studying at UniMelb introduced me to a lot of new like academic perspectives on how it is like studying abroad. So we had dynamic class models. It's not only lectures or seminars, but we had a huge lecture class of like 500 people, but you also had a small tutorial class. So in the tutorials, you would have like only 15 until 20 people in the class with one professor, and it would be a really intensive class with like case studies, discussions, group works, and all of that. And aside from that, I also had classes outdoors because I took a natural history subject. And for one of the for two of the lessons, we actually traveled around the system garden at Unimap, and my teacher was explaining to me like where this tree came from. One of them actually came from Indonesia, and it was already 14 years old. And then he also gave us like a DIY map to explore the Royal Botanic Gardens in Melbourne. So it was a really fun, dynamic class model. And aside from the varying classes, I also got to learn from industry practitioners. So in Unimap, I mostly took business courses because Melbourne is known for their business courses. And one of my teachers in this picture, this is Mr. Martin. He has lived in Australia for like 30 years. And these are my group mates. They're from Malaysia. Some are also from Indonesia. My fellow is my friend. And Mr. Martin, I really learned a lot from his subject because he did not only teach business theories, marketing theories, and everything, but he taught directly from his experience. Like he taught from his experience as a business consultant for 10 years or so in the Australian newspaper. He also worked as a marketer and consultant at a mental health agency. So it was really interesting learning from industry practitioners. And at the end of our study there, he was supposed to give us like a recap of the things that we studied, but instead, he gave us a recap of the life lessons that he hoped we had learned in his subject. So yeah, we got to learn from the people who are in the field. And lastly, I also became a participant in a speech and psychology study. So as a psychology student here in UC, I usually am the one doing the research. I've never actually participated in the research. So in Unimap, when I saw like a lot of research flyers asking for participants, I decided to join one. And I spent 4 hours in the research lab, and they were practically trying to make me feel stressed in order to see how it affects my speech. So they had me listen to a lot of weird noises, and they had me do math equations in my head, which I'm not good at. So they did a good job at making me stressed. And then they tested how well I speak and read the text that they gave to me. So yeah, I finally got to be a lab rat for once. And aside from the academics at Melbourne, there are a lot of fun things that you can do in Melbourne. I usually say to people there's always something for everyone in Melbourne, because if you're looking for beautiful natures, if you're looking for musical performances, for art exhibitions, for a lot of sporting events, you can basically find all of that in Melbourne. Like in this picture, we went on a trip to Mount Buller, like the 15 of us awardees from at Unimap. We went to Mount Buller, which is only 4 hours away from the city of Melbourne. And it was my first time experiencing snow. So it was definitely an unforgettable experience. And here we also climbed to the top of a lighthouse, and we saw like the beautiful islands with the vast seas. And I would argue this is kind of similar with Nusa Penida in Bali if you guys have ever been there. But what was interesting was that we were at a beach. It was really sunny, but it was also really cold because we went to the beach at winter. So it was like 10 degrees with really strong winds, but we were at the beach. So yeah, another interesting experience. And we also got to do a lot of things. Like we went kayaking along the city. Melbourne has a really big river, which is surrounded by like tall buildings and city lights. And we kayaked for 2.5 hours watching light show from the river. We also went to Phillip Island, where we got to hand feed kangaroos in an open field. We also got to watch koalas and penguins. And then there are also a lot of musical theaters, musical plays, and art exhibitions in Melbourne. And finally, during our last day in Melbourne, this is something I would usually never do, but it was our last day in Melbourne, and we just finished packing at 11 p.m. We haven't eaten dinner yet, so we decided to go get hot pot at 12 a.m. in the morning. And after getting hot pot, we decided impulsively, okay, let's go scootering at 2 a.m. and return to our apartment before we have to go. So we had to return at 3 a.m. and we started scootering at 2 a.m. around the city, because scooters are one of the public transports in Melbourne as well, aside from tram and walking. So we randomly scootered during midnight, and we quickly returned to our apartment afterwards at 3 a.m. and directly went to the airport and got back to Indonesia. So definitely there is everything for everyone in Melbourne. And if you're looking to apply to Melbourne or to Australia, I can guarantee you that I don't think you will ever get bored here. I don't think you'll ever get bored here, but as Bianca also mentioned, please travel responsibly, manage your finances. I think being an IISMA awardee also taught me a lot about managing personal finance as well as cooking and living alone. But all of that is worth it for all the preparation that you will have to prepare now. So that is all for my sharing today. And now it's your turn to be the future IISMA awardees. I wish you the best of luck as the applications are opening today. I wish you good luck throughout the whole process. And if I can help you in any other way, or if you need to contact me, please feel free to reach out to me. And I hope the sharing has been helpful. Good luck, everyone. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, Angie, for your sharing. Thank you once again. Thank you for all the three guests who have shared their materials today. Now, this is the time that everybody is waiting for. So, without further ado, people, if you have any questions, please drop them down in the chat, or if you're willing to speak out, do raise your hands in Zoom, not in real life. I don't think we can see this. All right, guys, let her rip. Oh, I see Salman here. Well, I guess I'm seeing you again, Salman. How are you doing? Do you have any questions?
Fine, Kostani. How are you doing?
I'm doing great in spite of it being a long day. It's pretty great. So, are they all clear to you, Salman?
They are all clear for me.
Well, this is gonna be a bit difficult. You guys are way too good at this, you know? All right, how about I prompt a little something here? So, Angie, I asked you the other day, right? So, I think this is something that all the other participants should probably know too. So, I'm going to ask on their behalf. So, when it comes to making a CV, will you actually need to make a Canva CV, like, or any kind of CV, or will maybe the details be required in the website? As in, will they just prompt the questions in the website, or do you have to manually make everything?
Okay, so you don't actually have to make a CV in the form of PDF or design or anything. You will get to fill in your CV at the website directly. So they will give you like, please write like 3 organizational experiences, and you can write it directly on the website. So maybe from right now, you can start preparing like what experiences you want to list in, what achievements, what organizational experiences. Last year, they also asked us for a list of publications, whether it be like in journals or articles, YouTube, all of that. So you can start preparing them right now, but you don't actually have to design your CV. You just need to fill it in the website later on.
All right, so clarification, guys. It's not, you don't necessarily have to make a beautiful Canva PPT, a beautiful Canva PDF, but there will be some details that you'll fill in the website, the official IISMA website. Do make sure you check that out, by the way. So thank you, Angie. Now we have a second question. Well, yes, a second question. So, which English proficiency test will give a better chance of getting accepted? IELTS or Duolingo? This question's for all of you, so feel free to make a comment.
I don't know. I think whatever works for you depends also on your chosen university. But yeah, I chose Duolingo for like if what you're capable of. I'm just too scared for IELTS and TOEFL. I don't know why, because I feel like Duolingo like the whole format and like their whole test is less intimidating. It's like more fun, I think, than like the regular test. So honestly, whatever works for you. Because if you're used to like formal test and everything, definitely IELTS and TOEFL would be like more, I don't know. But yeah.
Adding a bit, I think it's also depends on how other people like perform. I remember that in NTU we had a discussion about our score, which we picked. A lot of us picked Duolingo, like we're almost similar in score. Like I think it's 140 to 125 in Duolingo. So it also depends on how good other people that applies to your university. So, I don't think the kind of test really matters. It's more to do with how you and other people perform.
Yes, it also really depends on where you want to go to. For example, in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, they mostly only accept TOEFL or IELTS. So please do like research on your host university first, or where you want to apply to. And besides only looking at the requirements, you can also check the statistics on last year's intake. So if you like scroll down, there will be intake on last year's statistics, and you can see if how many TOEFLs they accepted, like what was the score for the TOEFL or IELTS or Duolingo, to give you a better consideration on which test to take depending on the host university.
All right. Thank you for all of your answers. We certainly hope that's beneficial. All of you guys should take note of that because the difference between a Duolingo test and an IELTS test is pretty large, don't you think? All right, so we have more questions here. So I'm going to read this. I would like to ask to all alumni, how can we stand out as an awardee in a bunch of other awardees, but in condition that our English proficiency test is not that high and we don't have much experiences in college or university rather?
Okay, so maybe I can start. I believe that ISMA is not only about like your English speaking test or about your achievements and experience, but I also believe it's about showing them who you are. So a way for you to be able to stand out would be, one of them is through your essays, and then through your goals in applying for ISMA. What I did last year was I really focused on the goal of me wanting to apply to ISMA because I have a passion in education, so I wanted to learn how it is to build an organization and all of that. So I tried to incorporate it in the experiences that I wrote. So I selected experiences that were related to education, that were related to psychology, and were related to business. So it creates a more cohesive like description of who you are. And aside from that, you can also really stand out through your essay and the things that you write. So for example, when you are asked to write about the challenge or obstacle that you faced, I wanted to write about an academic challenge at first, but then I decided not to write about that because I wanted to make my essay, I guess, more unique in a way. So I wrote about an experience that was hard for me, which was when I got hacked. And well, that was like a really rough process for me, but I decided to write it to my essay. Yeah, to share my personal story through my essay. So that is, I think, a way that you can do to stand out.
Perhaps anyone else wants to give a comment?
No, I think I agree with Angie. I think incorporating a lot of things in your life into your experience there would really help. Like, yeah, same with me. Like, I said that as an art student that I'm also interested in like sustainability and like incorporating Maastricht as a sustainable city. And like, I think it's like it just helps convince them what you think of and like showing who you are. But yeah, also because I think keep in mind that even if you're like if you feel like you're doing great, it means you're doing great. but if you don't get accepted, again, because there's like a bunch of people applying, so don't be discouraged. And yeah, just do your best.
All right, so that sums up all the comments from you guys. I see some nodding, so that's pretty sure that's a yes. All right, then let us hop into the next question. Salman, I see your hands high up in the
Thank you.
air.
Hi, Coach Tenny. Since it's all click, 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 I'm gonna help you now. Is IELTS computer-based test allowed? IELTS computer-based test, CPT, is it allowed or not?
IELTS computer-based test is allowed. I took an IELTS computer-based test last year.
What preparation do three of you suggest for me? Like, I've recently completed my first semester. Now I'm going to undergo my second semester. What preparation do you guys suggest me? Like, so far as before the IISMA semester eligible of the batch?
I'm gonna help answer that question. So I really recommend that you start looking for committees or competition to join. So for me, before I joined student union, I participated in managing competition. I also joined a few competition myself. So it is a good way to really fill out your CV. And I remember that in the website you can also post in your publication. So at first I thought that it was only for like official publications, so for research paper and stuff. So my friend told me that you can really put in anything like your articles and stuff. So I really recommend that you start writing your articles to really fill out the ISMA. Um, on for the website, you can also like explain what you did for your committees and stuff. So my technique to filling the description is to like fill in like the scope of your duties and your committee. So like what you did and what impact you're doing to the committees. And for if you're managing competition, you can also tell them like how many people that are registered on the competition, how big it is. So and also how big your contributions are. So that's it for me.
So does that sum it up? Oh, Angie, you want to say something?
I think you can also start preparing like besides your English proficiency test. If you're planning to apply to a country like in Korea or in Japan or in a foreign language country, I think in the second stage last year they also asked for an additional document proving your proficiency in another language. So maybe that can be helpful if you want to prepare before.
So, any other comments, perhaps?
Which one matters more, achievement or experience?
Ooh.
I would say experience. Because starting off, I think I've written not only like organizations that I've been in. I think it's again like Angie has said, I think it's more like your goals and like just basically literally like small experience that you had. Like I talked about like tasks that I have in class, like about designing one thing and about how I failed, how I cannot use the tools that I'm supposed to be using, like Adobe Illustrator at first. And I said like how I overcome it, like asking alumni how to like ace in that, and like yeah, basically just exaggerating little experiences that you have, like show like you can make like small things into like something interesting. I think that would be really good.
I think in the end, what becomes more important is the achievement or experience that shows the most hard work that you put into, or like the most personal growth that you put into. Because even if you win, like a really good international competition, but there was no process behind it, there was no hard work behind it, or like a challenge that you faced behind it, then I don't know, maybe they would really more appreciate something that shows how you're capable of adapting and working hard in a difficult situation.
So, any other comments from the guests?
Oh, no more comments. Crystal clear now.
All right, as you say,
It's
Salman.
all yours now, Coach Any.
I was gonna ask you, man, but you said it was crystal clear, so well, I guess that satisfies your question, does it?
Yes, it does.
All right then. So thank you, Salman, for your questions. Those are some pretty important questions, actually. So we hope that everybody's paying attention because we have 2 more questions. So during the preparation process, was there a mentor that helped you guys? And what organizations in UC really help to prepare for IISMA? So as in, let me contextualize that a bit. So the question here, there are 2 questions. So one is whether or not there were mentors for you guys. And the second question is whether or not joining certain organizations, like for example, SU, really, how do I say this? So when they see this in your CV, they would go, wow.
I think I'm gonna go first. I think mentors, like for me, it's like totally up to me because I asked like a bunch of like people that I don't know, maybe I follow them on Instagram that I know that they apply for IISMA and I feel like maybe they can help. So yeah, I'm asking like random peoples too, like asking like the IISMA Maastricht alumni themselves. So yeah, eventually they become your mentor at some point. But yeah, it's basically it has to be you that's like active and like asking, know what you really like, what you're confused about, and like asking and like yeah, basically asking, don't be afraid to ask to other people. And yeah, I think for me it's just student union, and I feel like a lot of awardees from UCs are also in student union, I think. So yeah.
For me, it's also, I think it's student union, but I think it's a culmination between different like committees, different organization, and different competition. So I put in a lot of stuff on my CV at IISMA. So I think it all culminates into one really good portfolio. I feel like for me. And as for mentor, uh, I didn't ask a lot of people. If I remember correctly, I didn't ask a lot of people that previously applied to IISMA. In my faculty, I think the most one of the people that has the most impact is my academic lecturer, Miss Teresia. So she's very helpful with improving my essays, fixing some learning problems on my essays, what to improve and other stuff. In my faculty, there's also like socialization for from last year's awardees. So yeah, it depends on your faculties. It also depends on you, but ultimately, I also agree with Bianca, the one that help you a lot is you yourself. So yeah, that's it for me.
All right then. Thank you so much, guys, for your answers. Now we shall move on to our last question of the day. Do we need certification of the achievements that we've done. What if it's an organizational experience that's still ongoing?
You don't need certification to prove that you've won something or you've done an organization. So you just have to write down like what you won, where it was held, and then give a short description of what the competition was about. But you don't need to submit any documents. As for an organization that was still ongoing, last year I put Leadership 101, which was also still ongoing during the IISMA program. But I still put it in anyway because as I remember, they don't really ask you the end date of the organization. I kind of forgot, but I don't think they asked for the end date. So I put in an ongoing organization.
So I guess everybody's in agreement with that. All right. So since there
Sorry.
are no more questions, do you have any
Just a
comments?
thought, but again, don't make up like fake CVs or anything because remember that if you passed like to the interview, then they're gonna ask you a bunch of like detailed stuff. And if you can't answer, then
Oh, actually, we just got another question, and I'd say it's a very important one. So this question is specifically for Bianca, who is in batch 2020, supposedly. So this person might know you. So as I know, batch 2020 is doing their internship now. So how did you, as batch 2020, take your internship if you're joining IISMA?
well, basically for the internship is definitely not a problem because that's what they're converting in. So you don't have to do internship because you're doing IISMA. So it's like the convert system. I would worry about the final proposal for your in UC because that's also like you still have to do it. So basically you're doing like two things at a time. You're studying here and you're also doing your final project proposal. But you can manage that. But don't worry about the internship because from my experience, you don't have to make a report about it. You don't have to do the internship itself.
Did I hear that right? Because the comments I got by asking the same question were pretty different.
Is it
If I, Mhm,
is like in UC too or?
you see.
Oh.
So I'm taking BMI. What's your major,
I
if I may know?
I'm in VCD, Visual Communication Design. Maybe it's different from for another faculty. I don't know.
Maybe it is. Well, then now I'm going to be asking NNP a lot of questions. Isn't that right, Mr. Ray? All right, so that wraps it up for our Q&A session today, guys. So thank you, guest speakers, for presenting your materials and answering the many doubts or confusions that everybody has. So before we end today's session, let us all take a photo. All right, IT, let us take a photo. Cameras on, everybody. Okay, is IT ready? All right, so we're done with our photo sessions, but before we end today, we have some additional announcements coming from Bu Sasa. So please, the stage is yours.
Okay, hello guys. It's very nice to meet you. For those of you who hasn't known me, my name is Sasa. I'm actually the lecturer from HTB or from tourism. And I'll be your partner or I'll be your mentor in guiding you, especially for your documents and registration period. So if you do have any questions regarding documents or regarding the registration, the websites or the G forms that you have to fill in after this, you can just contact me, okay? Now, I'm not going to ask for a lot of time. I'm just going to do this in 5 minutes because I'm going to give the detailed version on 25th of January. So in 2 days. Without further ado, I'm in here to tell you about the registration process and all the documents that you need to prepare. So first thing first, the first thing that you need to prepare is your EPT test because this one is going to take the longest. The EPT test, especially if you're taking TOEFL IPT or IELTS, it's going to take the longest. So you need to prepare for this one first. And then alongside the EPT, you also need to prepare your passports. So if you already got your passport and it's still valid at least until August, 1st of August 2025. So if your passport is expired prior to or before 1st August 2025, I highly recommend you to renew your passports. Miss, I often got these questions. Miss, but if the passport is still above 6 months, if the passport has more than 6 months of validity but under 1 year, you can't really renew it. Actually you can on certain circumstances. So you should just try to argue with the you should just try to have a discussions with the immigration officers. If they think that your reason is valid, they might give you. So that's the first thing that you have to prepare. Passport and EPT, because these two, it takes the longest. And then as for passports, if you do have to create a new passport or if you do have to renew your passports, there are two ways. So there is the regular way and there is the express way. The regular ways for regular passports will cost around I think 350, and then the e-passport for regulars will cost around I think 500 or 550, and the expressway, in which you will get your passports in 1 day, will cost you around 1 million. I totally forgot. I think it's 1 million or 1.2 million. So it really depends on you. But in my humble opinion, considering that passport, it is strongly suggested to have a passport, but passport itself is not really the requirements for the early stages of IISMA. So I think considering that it's not really the requirement but strongly suggested, I think it would be better to renew the passport, or I think it's better to renew the passport or make a new passport using the regular way instead of the express way. That's for the passport. And then after you finish with the passport, you need to fill in the G form. Yeah. So on 25th of January or in the day after tomorrow, I'm going to explain to you a really detailed version on how to fill in the G form. There are 2 G forms, by the way, that you need to fill. So I'm going to explain to you regarding the how to fill the first G form, how to fill the second G form, and what other documents you'll need in the day after tomorrow. So on 25th of January. So make sure that you don't miss that session because it's very, very, very important. Okay, after passports, EPT, you also need to prepare your recent academic transcript. Yeah, so for those of you who is entering your fourth semester, you need to provide a validated academic transcript, your third semester validated academic transcript. So for those of you who is entering the sixth semester or semester 6, you have to provide the valid academic transcript for semester 5. Yeah, and it needs to have your recent GPA. Okay, so for the GPA cutoff, I'm going to inform that on 25th. For TOEFL, IELTS, and Duolingo cutoff, I'm also going to inform that on the 25th, as well as after you prepare these three, it would be nice when the IISMA website is open today at 6 p.m. It would be nice if you can choose if you decide quickly on the country that you're going to, and then the university as well as the courses. That's the most important thing. And this is the thing that you need to remember. There will be 2 G forms that you need to fill. Both G forms you need to fill these 2 G forms before 11 of February or February 11. Yeah. So if you can finish these 2 G form as soon as possible, that will be so much better than waiting for February 11. Okay, this is the most important thing that you need to remember. You need to fill in this 2 G form as soon as possible. Don't wait until the end. Don't wait until the cutoff date, which is the 11th February 2024. And unfortunately for those of you guys, if you haven't filled in the G form, the second G form by 11th February 2024, you will automatically be rejected from the internal selection, from the IISMA internal selection. This is the thing that you need to remember. So I think that's all. Yeah, I think that's all for the briefing today. I will give you a more detailed version on 25th of January. Thank you, Stefan.
Okay, thank you, Bu Sasa, for the announcements. Now we will also like to hear a few announcements from Bu Jess.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you, Stanis, for introducing. So I would like to share a little bit more information on IISMA. So take notes, yeah. I know there's a lot of information going on, but if you need more detail on what Busasa mentioned before, please do come at 25 January. Yeah. Okay, so now I would like to share again. Maybe if you attend our previous sharing, then you may already know about our timeline. But to those who's new, you can see this one. So this will be the detail for your candidate journey, yeah, if you decide to join IISMA. So you see here the black one. This is the information from our task force from UCISMA team. Okay, but the orange one is the official timeline from the ISMA committee. But of course, we will keep this updated as we have new information tonight at 6 p.m. So before 90, the ISMA socialization, we had that is done. And then for the ISMA website registration, we actually started today. So please, I invite all of you to go to ISMA website and then see what kind of requirements that might be needed and everything, even though we will have session on 25th. Yeah, but because then when you see and explore the website by yourself, then you will have a lot of questions which you can ask and confirm later on 25th. Okay, and then after that, it will be followed by a series of student preparation event. So before, I think Rama mentioned, yeah, we got a lot of help from Butere, from his lecturer about how to write essay, and then about some comments of how to improve the essay and stuff. So we would like to support you in the university level as well. So we will have sessions, tips and tricks from the awardee as well, and then also from what we get, and then how to register, essay workshop, and also massive mentoring. So we will invite many lecturers from many departments to help you actually offline, one-on-one, to have a clinic on your essay. So be ready, prepare ahead. And then, so from now up to 11 February, this is what we need from you. Please do register, yeah, in our Google form. This is the overall document that you will need. The details again in 25th January. Okay, and then the next one, after the application, we will also have the series of next stage preparation events. So when you pass the first test, which is like the document selection, then you will have next test, which is like the kebhinekaan test preparation. You will hear the sharing from the awardee, and then how to process letters that's required, probably like SKCK dan surat bebas narkoba, and maybe other documents that might be required. And then we will also prepare for you interview workshops and also massive mock-up interview and mentoring. Please do not miss this one, because this is a very good opportunity. The last year awardee only get the interview workshops, only like maybe 2 or 3 of them that is like have the opportunity to learn about the tricks, but we would like to do the real interview, so it's a one-on-one, it's like offline one, so please do attend this one. Yeah, so and then the next one in the around mid to end of February, you have to prepare this one, the required letters, SKCK, surat bebas narkoba, as we mentioned before, and then there will be national tests and also interview. What we need to remind you is that the IISMA interview selection process can be very fast for some universities. It can be like taking a long time before you get your interview. So be ready, yeah, prepare your schedule, and then like you have to be ready anytime after the kebhinekaan test. And then for the next one, the awardee announcement. Well, they say the schedule is in the mid-March, but we'll see, and we'll keep you updated if there's any changes that we know of. Okay, and then after the announcements, we will give you the departure preparations. This is from our university, and then there will be, yeah, you will enjoy the program of the IISMA, or you got selected and awarded by IISMA. Okay, and then to those of you who didn't pass the selection for the IISMA, we still have IISMA co-funding socialization. So there is still another chance. Maybe like the funding, maybe the fee will be, you have some fee that you need to pay in the IISMA co-funding, but still there's still a lot of advantages, because like the universities that you can apply for is the top universities. Like if you would like to go there, even though you have the money, there's no guarantee that you can get there except through this IISMA. So still, this is a very good opportunity for IISMA co-funding. But for now, let's focus on the regular IISMA. So this is the timeline. Actually, the timeline and the frequently asked question, everything is in the WhatsApp group, yeah, in the WhatsApp group. So please do check the detail. I will not read this one by one, but basically would like to support you in any way that we can. Okay, the upcoming one, the closer one, once again, 25th January. Please do come so we can talk and discuss about the detail of the registration. Okay, and then on the 26th, on the Friday, we will have a workshop about how to pick the right country and university. Because as mentioned before, it's not all about your GPA, right? And also EPT, and then your organization experience. Sometimes it's also about the strategy. If you which university should I choose? Should I choose only the top university? Should I choose the one that I only wanted? Or maybe is there any strategy that we need to consider for this one? Okay, that will be on 26th. Well, the rest you can keep updated. Just join our WhatsApp group. Okay, just go next. Yeah. I think this is for this one. Is there anyone, maybe a question first? Is there anyone who is not in our WhatsApp group for ISMA yet? Anyone? No, so I guess everyone's already in the WhatsApp group, yeah? Okay then. Well, I guess that's the information session from me for today. If there's any question or anything, please. Thank you, Stanis.
All right. Well, actually, with that said, that actually concludes our session today. So, as Bo just said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact. All right. So that wraps it up for today, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending the ISMA awardee sharing session, as well as some additional information. We hope that all of you take notes today because there's a lot to prepare. So, future awardees, we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for coming. Bye-bye. See you on 25th.
Thank you, everyone.